to do what I have done, to spend your lives in sin at the house of the rock.
Slightly tilted, and the Marine recruiters can see it. Give me that direction.
Hey! I think I got my brother. We need to come and do help.
This is a protest against the militarization of our daily life and its large featuring in the totally non-partisan community-wide celebration of the summertime, the arrival of summer, that is the Rose Festival. And they have taken away the destroyers, but they've left us this grotesque recruiting station.
Right over here behind you is a recruiting station.
Telling us, I kid you not, to learn to be killers. And that is now what the Marines are providing as the incentive to join the spear carriers for the American Empire, is to learn to become killers. And of course, you could do that, but it's a decadent way of going about it, and it can't have any good come out of it. So the protest here is that we should obviously reduce our focus on militarism here in this Rose Festival. That's a signal of a big paradigm change, a big shift altogether that was accomplished in the Soviet Union around about the time Gorbachev came in, and people started saying, well, gosh darn it, why can't we be just another country? Just another country. We'll abide by all those conventions with the UN, and we won't have a communist party in Timbuktu that we have to support against the Stalinist Trotskyist Communist Party in Timbuktu, and so on. So the Russians really relaxed and said, you know, this is a good example to the Americans. If they could just follow our example and turn around to become just another country, then we could have peace. And that was a missed opportunity because we elected Ronald Reagan to be set against Mr. Gorbachev. Here, you guys have a reason to come out.
Well, thanks for talking with me. I'm going to go around and get some more information here.
Sure.
Thanks for handing out the info and being out here.
Sure.
Speaking for peace.
Anti-war, rather, so that I could be more specific and not saying peace as to a general term, but anti-war.
Specifically.
You can go right ahead and have criminals who are out to kill as many Americans as they can kill. Those are called serial killers, and they can be mass serial murderers. But those people are criminals. They are going to be caught by the cooperation of the International Criminal Court, which the United States won't join, for heaven's sakes. What absurdity. And you see what they have done. They've cleaned up Croatia and Bosnia-Herzegovina. All the biggies are there in the dock. I mean, you don't want me to rattle off those foreign-sounding names, but they're there. And they're fingering all those guys in Africa. They're just chop people's limbs off for the fun of it and send them in as messengers. They're after them. Well, why can't the United States be just another country, damn it? Let's be just like Russia. Да, товарищ, я говорю по-русски. Хорошо.
Get the new Samsung Galaxy S4 at T-Mobile for just $149.99 plus taxes and fees at activation. So go to a participating T-Mobile store now. T-Mobile, unleash. If you cancel wireless service, remains
kind of a message to the recruiters, as well as a message to shut Guantanamo down, right?
Right.
That's what this gathering's about.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Of course, we target the recruiters every year because, you know, that's it's during the Rose Festival, a time of, you know, celebration, party, being outside and enjoying all the fun and everything. And then we got the Marines down here trying to lure people, young people away to a life of, you know, with what?
Endless war?
Endless war.
Yeah. Thanks for being out here, making a stand.
My pleasure.
Out in public. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Joel. Hey, Rich. What are you doing out here? Hey, Herschel.
How are you?
Good. Out here making your voice to the public?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
A bit of spreading the word about Bradley Manning. Not many people know about Bradley Manning. But I brought her over on my bicycle, and at bicycle speed, you can get reactions from the sidewalk, and had reactions probably a couple hundred yards of my house. So it was worth the bicycle trip.
You had some signage, and they're seeing it as you bicycle, right?
Right. Had this sign right on my bicycle there, so they could see it.
Well, good. Letting people know what's going on, because he told a lot of information that we all need to know.
That's right, exactly.
We need to know that stuff.
If you don't know what your government is doing, you can't really make an informed choice about who you want to have in office. And he simply told the truth. As Norman Solomon said, if the enemy is democracy, then he could be called a traitor. But I think we would all kind of favor a little bit more democracy.
Yeah.
He told nothing but the truth. He did what the law would require him to do, his conscience would require him to do. If you saw a murder being committed here in the United States, you'd be required to kind of report it to someone, report it to the authorities. He did that.
Yeah. And now we need to support him because he's not getting justice. I mean, the way they're treating him. I mean, slowly he's got some trials now that are coming in, or he's involved, you know, hearings and trials right now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And it's a military trial, which is not the same thing as a civilian trial. I think there are going to be a lot of witnesses testify without really exposing themselves. I think that's one of the things we like to talk about the jury trial is you get to face your accusers, but I don't think Bradley Manning is going to get a chance to do that. They're going to be hidden from view.
Yeah. Well, gosh, we just got to keep the conversation going until he's out, until he's free, and probably change some of this, the way this is all done, expose it.
I think you're right. I mean, he's made an attempt to kind of get conversation going. We have to keep it up and use Bradley Manning as a lever to kind of stop the injustice being done to Bradley Manning. Even if he was guilty of some kind of treason, torture is not something I want my government to do. I mean, I don't want anyone to be tortured. I don't want to be known as the country that tortures. And the torture, of course, occurred before he even had a trial. Much the same as the using the drone warfare. I mean, these people are not allowed an attorney. They're not allowed to be faced with the evidence. They are simply blown into bits by a drone because Mr. Obama says they need to go. It's the wrong thing to do.
We're sliding in the wrong directions. Drones, torture, you know, endless wars.
You know,
imprisonment for speaking truth.
I know. When I was in high school, I mean, I never dreamed it was going to be the case that I would be pleading with my government for them to stop torturing or stop murdering. Stop imprisoning without charges. I mean, this is all done by other governments other than my own. But unfortunately,
that's what we thought. We're led to believe as we grew up, probably, you know.
Exactly.
Hoping for. Yeah, it's good that you're out here in public and all these Rose Festival people get the message and exposed a little bit of this, you know. It's good.
I'm hoping that that they do kind of maybe read it. I know when people come to these events, I mean, they come down here for an escape to kind of have fun. But I mean, I'm hoping that maybe just seeing a sign and seeing the Marines, seeing it's not with unanimity.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that the military is a good career or a good thing to do.
Oh.
That's our point. I think.
Okay. Thank you for saying
Hey,
it.
Joe, you are super.
Well, so are you. All right, buddy. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Hi, ladies. Thanks for being out here.
Thank you. I get my Code Pink outfit today because I really love Code Pink.
Yeah, I do too. I'm really proud of them.
I mean, I'm so proud of Medea, the way she puts herself on the light stand. Isn't she something?
Oh, she's brave. goes up in all those big meetings and just tells them what they all don't want to hear, but she tells it to them.
And she does.
Yep, that's great. I seen her when she was in town and made a little video of her when she spoke across the river there about a year ago, about
she
drones.
used to come out when we had our group together here. She used to be with us for lunch once in a while, but quite a while now.
Well, she's busy. She's got a lot to keep talking about since they don't move too quickly.
Yeah.
But thanks for speaking up and with your signs. Yeah. I think maybe can you spin this way a little bit? They're trying to get right behind you. Traffic control.
Remember,
I did. You guys didn't hear it.
There you go.
There was a kid right here. Thanks, Joe.
Nothing like telling protesters to get out of the way. Breaking the rules.
I'm thinking of something. The only thing to go in there is bronze.
Bronze? Yep.
And we got the brains, they got the bronze.
Haha, yes.
That's the only test they give them. No IQ.
Yeah.
Yeah, no IQ.
or follow orders. Maybe you got to do that.
Huh?
Follow orders, maybe. You got to
And
be good at
follow
just do
orders.
what somebody tells you.
Like-
You're going to have to do a lot of that, even if it's against your IQ.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you handing out literature to people that are
Not
really?
People are not really.
Yeah, they're not great.
If
They're
they
looking, but they're
see
not.
This, if they,
Can I-
you know, and they can.
Let me just hold this here a minute. Yeah, you know,
I have a colored one that's better. You want to scan a color?
yeah. Let me hold this for you. Oh, there you go. Thanks for showing this. Hello.
Pose for you.
What's that?
We'll pose for you.
Yeah, good. You want to say anything to me too? I just independent media and supporting the veterans that are speaking out. Peace activist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a veteran.
I'm not a veteran, but I support the veterans.
Oh, I'm not a veteran.
You're not a veteran, but you're out here in support of the peace veterans, right?
Yeah,
I really support the peace veterans. I mean, they rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want their voice to be heard, so I try to help get the camera out.
He's great about putting stuff on.
Yeah.
What's that, babe?
Yeah, it's nice you're out here. That's a good message too. Jobs and schools, not more drones and battleships. God, exactly. You know.
Well, you know, there's a lot of problems with the military these days, especially in terms of like, you know, the Pentagon's budget, obviously, close to $1 trillion a year, and of course, you know, the rapes and the sexual violence that is happening in the military is
Being
horrifying
exposed.
too.
Yeah.
And of course, the torture that our military is currently using as a viable battlefield tactic these days is even more horrifying. But beyond all that, what really, really bothers me is the intrusion of militarism into our public spaces, into spaces like this, for example, which is an area where you bring your children down to have fun. And yet, wherever we go in public spaces in America these days, it seems that we are confronted with these images of militarism, of glorified violence, of perpetual war, and how that is such an indelible part of our culture that it cannot be removed at all. And this is a new phenomenon, okay? This is only like the past 20, 30 years. Prior to that, and I'm not talking just Vietnam, I'm talking way, way, way back, the military has always been considered an option of last resort. That people going to the military go in because they are forced to or because they have no other choice. But now the military is trying to sell its image to all of America as a normal, good part of America. And in fact, it's the same as any other militarism around the world. It's basically aberrant to the psychological and health and well-being of any human being anywhere on the planet. So.
Did you see it? I agree with you. And do you see it also, the rise in the police authoritarian state in the last 20 years as well?
Also, yeah. I mean, many ex-military go on to become, you know, cops who become thugs who basically club and beat people for no good reason. And it's like the impetus for that kind of violence has already been pre-programmed into their brains through boot camp and seeing the violence that they've seen in our theaters of a war in Afghanistan, Philippines, Iraq, Colombia, and 70 other countries where we have active military operations.
Boy, a lot of people don't know all that, though. They've not connected all those things, you know? Yeah. Well, when you talked about the public spaces, it's just like the military recruiters right behind us here, you know? And around all these young people and all these families trying to...
Well, I first noticed it when I was an educator, and I still am an educator, but when I was teaching full-time in inner-city schools, I was horrified when I saw so many military personnel on my campus, you know, throwing out wide nets to capture young people who really wanted to protect America and make America strong. Many of these children were forced into horrendous situations in Fallujah and Iraq and many other places, and they came back without limbs. They came back permanently damaged. My taxes are going to be paying for their care for the rest of their lives. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm really into paying taxes to take care of vets. Not a problem with that at all. But to subject a child to that kind of violence and to go into public schools, as the military recruiters are doing, and you know, walk around with their uniforms, you know, acting tough for the little boys who want to, you know, be tough and protect their families, and acting all kind of like suave for the little girls who fall in love with anything that walks by and gives them attention. Because to me, really, that's the kind of intrusion of militarism into public space that I'm so offended by, because it's a manipulation of children, and it's also an invasion of my public space. I pay for the schools. My taxes pay for the schools, okay? I pay for this waterfront. I don't want these military people here, but they're here, and I have nothing to say. I cannot stop it.
Yeah, you can't stop them.
But I am here, and I will say to them, to their face, you guys are wrong, you know, pack up all your gewgaws and your trappings and go someplace else, because, you know, they're like snake oil salesmen back in the 1800s, you know, going from town to town trying to sucker people.
Sad. Thanks for using your voice and being out here and talking with me. I appreciate it. Okay. You got anything you want to say, or were you thinking?
I just want to add to what you said.
that give the young people decent jobs and they won't see the military as their only way out.
Right.
And education. People who have no money see the military as their only alternative.
Right.
I feel strongly about that.
Yeah, I see that gap being filled by, the military offering here. We got an opportunity for you when there's nothing out here. We need jobs for these young kids. And
Absolutely.
just to send them to another country and start teaching them about military ways or violent ways, that's not a way to...
Teach them to be killers, and then when they kill, we're shocked.
And then
they come home.
their lives are ruined.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and their families'
And their
lives.
families, yeah. So that's so important for our voices to be out here.
Absolutely.
Speaking the truth and encouraging people. And educating.
My son was a Marine, but he was a Marine officer, so he was privileged.
Yeah, there's the elements of the privilege that are in there too.
Oh,
that
you can see that very much at Camp Pendleton. He lived in officers' quarters. He lived well, and the enlisted guys, it's like welfare. It's another kind of welfare.
It's not like that for everybody. And in fact, my cousin in 2005 committed suicide. He was in the military, and he was disgusted. And he wrote a thing. His last words were, "I didn't come here to be, for greed and corruption. I won't be sullied anymore." And he studied ethics. He was there in Iraq helping train and teach ethics. And he was so sickened, and he went to Petraeus and all those people and said, his quote was, "You're only worried about your own careers."
Absolutely.
And wasn't that the truth? I mean, that panned out 5 years later, too, as they, but he's gone. And his frustration, that frustration, and the Bradley Mannings and all these people, the Watadas and all these people that are they go there and try to speak up, and say what's going on. All these people have been raped and all those terrible things, And here they're just trying to recruit more people. It's got to stop. Yeah. Thanks for being out here. You have a good sign too. Those darn drones.
Hi, I'm Kurt Bell. I'm with the Peace Action Group at First Unitarian, and I work on peace issues and Palestinian justice issues, and it's all connected. We're working right now on a Multnomah County resolution that we hope will pass, which is what this sign's about. End the wars, bring our dollars home to pay for human services here. And I wrote a letter recently to the Oregonian that commented on there's a big brouhaha because the city has to cut $19 million and they're cutting all kinds of services.
Yeah.
And John Grusho was just telling me that the housing authority, the sequester, led to cutting of $6 million in rent for low-income people in Portland. All that hardship, and $21 million, I made a calculation that's spent in just 16 minutes by the Defense Department. They're spending, and that's about $657 billion a year. And if you added up all of the money, if you included all the money for the interests of wars and care of veterans and care of the wounded and everything, it's about $1.2 trillion. And so that $21 million would be spent in about 10 minutes for the total military spending. So that's just, it's kind of an illness, a psychological illness that seems to be behind. We were talking this morning in our Peace Action Group about how the culture of violence at the international level, where violence is our main instrument of foreign policy or the main focus, it parallels the gun violence here at home, the idea that you solve problems with killing people or shooting them or being violent. It's an ancient thing that has to be passed culturally somehow.
Yeah, I've heard that in fact, the ships, a lot of them aren't here because they've cut back on some spending. Is that true that they are cutting back on some? And
well, yes and no. They've cut back some of the most obvious things, I think, like air shows and visits of the ships that the public sees. But they're still pushing for the spending, like of this B-61 bomber and a whole lot of things that are really even the military hardly needs. And there's an effort to protect the Defense Department from the sequestering by cutting money from other things more. So there may be some small cuts, but they're not very significant.
Yeah. And all that money that's going towards the military could be used. Your point is bring it home to where we need it at home.
Yeah.
Because we don't need to be blowing all that money off around the world doing that. No.
Why do we need 800 bases around the world and I don't know how many thousands of troops in Germany? And why do we need that? And it's kind of been proven that this isn't really a very effective way to achieve national goals. The war in Iraq has taken over. We'll be spending about $3 trillion in total for the war in Iraq, and that money could have done so much here at home.
Yeah. It's a good message. I like it, because it gives you hope, to bring the money home.
Thank you, Joe, for everything you do.
Thank you for being out here in public. Great. Be a good way to start or end these wars, these endless wars.
I'm kind of jaded standing out here. I get tired of the people just ignoring what's going on. If we had a draft, they'd be lining up wanting to talk to us to how could they keep their loved one out of the war. But we don't have a draft, so I think we ought to bring it back, but not like we usually do. Let's start with the older people first. Put me in there. I don't want to be behind a computer. I'm a Luddite, but I can peel potatoes. I can scrub toilets.
Right.
So let's start with Congress. Get the older members of Congress. Let's draft them. We won't have wars, Joe.
That would change it, wouldn't it?
We have wars stopped right now.
That's a damn good idea.
Right now. So let's start with the older ones. I'll even circulate initiative for that. I'll be a chief petitioner on that one.
Okay. Thank you for your opinion there.
Thanks, Joe.
So they may not have
I got a little bitty argument over there with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why they say that? I would do it in a heartbeat. Right now, I'd be like, yep, shake my head, take out my gauges, I go right back.
Who would you be suing?
I would do something my boy wouldn't have to go back.
That's good.
I do it for my friend here, I do it for my girlfriend, I do it for them. Yeah, I didn't do it. You wouldn't do it.
It is a volunteer army. I mean, nobody has to volunteer to go in. So if nobody volunteered, we wouldn't have these goddamn wars.
Yeah, but if no one volunteered,
What do we do when there's an army standing at our borders and we don't have any protection?
Well, what we need is an actual defense department. What we need is an actual defense department, not a war department like we have, even though they're called the defense department.
Well, then you should.
I know, but if you didn't have people that volunteer or even sign up, what would you guys do?
Well, I guess we wouldn't have to do this.
I know, you wouldn't be holding that. You'd be holding something else that said, like, let Germany.
But nobody's really been at our borders, I don't think.
No, well, actually, at one point.
I mean, we're all at their borders. We're all over the globe.
At one point, actually, Japan actually invaded the U.S. in Alaska during World War II.
Yeah, but there was we knew some stuff, a little cover up on that.
Yeah.
The original.
Yeah.
There was a lot of lies going on. A lot of lies and deception.
But there has, what I'm saying though, I'm glad that I joined the military. I do not regret it one bit. I passed up.
Did you join the military?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's some veterans standing out here too. There's a lot of vets standing up for peace, though. That the war is not the answer.
Exactly.
And that's what we want.
I've been through in Iraq and Afghanistan. I mean, I've been blown out of a Humvee and I've all my joints blown out, my knees, everything.
Yeah.
All fucked up.
Yeah.
But I don't want anybody to go over there anymore. But I understand why they go over there.
But our government, we kind of, all the war, WMDs and the war on terror, they hype it, I think, a lot.
They hype it and they add stuff behind there.
Yeah.
Involve, all right, yeah, we already got Saddam, we got Bin Laden. All right, yeah, let's bring our guys home. They don't need to be there anymore. We went there, did our job.
It's really hurtful, too, is I met some people from Iraq, and they're just begging for help. Please stop. It's not helping us, and my children, my babies, and their family, and it's just hurting people. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, peace, man, and thanks for conversation.
Yeah.